Alright, welcome back. Hope everyone's having a lovely day, a lovely night, wherever you're from. And real quick, before we get started, I want to give a lovely shout out to the channel members on this channel. So thank you so much to these lovely commanders here that you see on screen. Thank you guys so much for your guys' constant generosity and your support to me as always. It really means a lot to me, so thank you guys so much. If you guys are actually interested in becoming a lovely commander yourself, if you are interested in any of these cute and lovely emotes, the loyalty crown badges, you want a special role in the Discord, make sure to join the Discord. But as always, if you choose to do so, thank you so much. Just remember, that's not the only way that you can support me. Just watching the content like you are right now is truly the best way. Liking, subscribing, and commenting, everything really does help. So thank you guys so much. And for today's video, after a lot of testing, after wasting a lot of materials, getting equipment set up, I've done some testing and it's been interesting. And I kind of want to talk about it because right now is an interesting time and kind of a horrible time, especially to have a duo like this. Because I honestly feel like this kind of power creeps some of the duos that we have, and that's kind of insane to me to say that. But, you know, hear me out. We are going to do some testing. But first I want to talk about it because when it comes to these testing videos, I feel like at this point, it's kind of a mixture of my should you pull / testing at this point. But should you pull in this case is kind of iffy right now. Because similar to some of the duos that we've had, one character works fine without, and then one character you really need both. So this is going to be kind of an issue that I want to talk about. So when we're talking about the income aspect, obviously if you're broke, just save. But if you are interested in the collab, then I definitely think you should save since that's probably coming up next. Now, if you don't care about the collab and you're just pulling here, then obviously go for it. You know, if you're going for waifu, go for it. Go for whoever you want, even if it's just one. If you're just doing it for waifu, then just go for it. But if we're talking about being competitive, I just want to say that if you're trying to figure out what character that you can pull for, at least one, and try to use them, Anchor you will be fine with. Mast will try to work, but the problem is that the drunken stacks will go to 3 and she'll get stunned a lot, which will kind of cripple her damage a lot. So with Anchor, you don't really have to worry about anything. So you might want to prioritize picking her instead, actually. But if we're talking about being seriously competitive, then I'd recommend at least getting one copy of each. I'm saying one copy of each, obviously, to make them work. But if you're really serious about solo raid, union raid, or even anomaly interception, then you're going to need these two. With how good they are, I feel like there's definitely going to be a difference in percentage whether you have them or not. And if you're that serious about it, then obviously you're going to want to grab them. However, on the other side of that, if you are somebody who plays this game and you just get through solo raid just to get the rewards, you do the challenge mode once just to see what you get, and then that's it. You're comfortable with pushing through the campaign with what you have. The other duos is fine, then that's perfectly fine. You don't really have to worry about these characters at all. But just understand the circumstance between pulling for these characters are based on the account that you have and what kind of player you are. Now, with all that out the way, let's talk about Anchor, because we're also going to be talking about Mast since they are a duo in this case. And in my opinion, I think they are fantastic. But when we're talking about equipment, you get a little bit more chill this time. Because with Mast, it was kind of crazy. Remember with Mast, I obviously have her at OL level 5, but you also needed to focus on hit rate and max ammo. Now, with someone like Anchor, you can leave at OL 0 and be fine. Lines, whatever you get is what you get. Unless you really want more power for her, then that's fine. But you don't really have to worry about lines that much with her, since she is a support. And I mean, with what she has in her kit, she won't really benefit much outside of just seeing the power. But for me, I ended up getting lucky. I ended up getting charge damage, crit, max ammo. I got a black line of elemental damage, max ammo, another black line of max ammo and some attack. Really crazy lines that I got. I was surprised about it. So she actually ended up being really well built. Now, for skills, for both of these characters, I'm just going to say it, it's an expensive team to build. Just like the other duos, you know, 10, 10, 10. But honestly, 777 is going to be the minimum, and I already know 777 is more expensive for everybody, so I understand that if you don't want to commit to it. But if you also want to build them, you know, 7, 10, 10 for both of them can also work. Just know that either way it's expensive. Even getting to 777 can be very expensive. And when we're talking about cubes, I have max ammo on all of them. I have a lot of max ammo lines, especially for Mast. I feel like Bastion on both of them will be the play, especially to benefit them. That's my choice. You could also do resilience if you want, but I feel like for me, for what I'm using, especially with my lines, Bastion for both of them is going to benefit them more. And when it comes to testing, testing is going to be done a little bit differently. Now, I want to focus on the distributed damage aspect of this team, mostly for the burst 3s. I'm not going to really focus on someone like Doro or anything like that. And when we're doing comparisons, I'm not going to be using Crown because Crown is still the best buffer in the game because she is just power crept and stupid. But I want to compare the duos, actually. I want to compare these maid duos to the bunny duos, to the schoolgirl duos, and just see who's the best duo for SBS and Quincy. And I wanted to focus on Quincy, obviously the alt version because of her distributed damage. But because obviously Alice can benefit from the reload speed from the maid duo, but I want to see if I can try to free up a team with Alice and have her somewhere else, so this can be a distributed damage team. I'm letting you know that now, so you don't wonder why I don't have Alice with SBS, so you can understand my mindset that I'm going with. I was originally going to test with 2B, but I feel like that's unfair to a lot of people because some people might not have been here for Nier, which I understand, so I'm not going to use that character. So what I want to do first is instead of testing with the schoolgirls first, I want to be testing with the bunnies, just so we can get a baseline. Obviously, they came first, so it'd be more appropriate to try to test with them. Now, it's going to be interesting because what we're testing here is going to be on iron, so it's going to have an advantage for wind, and obviously it looks like the bunnies have an advantage here as a duo, but I'm really only focused on Quincy and SBS, more specifically SBS, so I want her to try to get as much damage as she can. Rappy's just going to be the plain burst 1 just because she's insane. So we're just going to go from there and we're just going to do the 3-minute battle. But as usual with these testing videos, I'm not going to make you watch all of that because there's no reason to. But I just want to show you me going through these stages so you can understand my thought process rather than just showing a bunch of numbers and comparing, because that's just a personal preference for me. So, you know, I hope you appreciate that. But as always, I will be right back after this is over. Alright, so we're actually starting to wind down now here, about to finish, and we're going to see the results. Now, once again, we're only focused on SBS and Quincy. We're just going to use their numbers as a base, and then just go from there and see who improves where. So right now, Rappy is almost at 700 million because she's just insane. Quincy almost got 600 million, and SBS got almost 1.5 billion. So, from there, now what I want to do is actually compare the schoolgirls. I have a feeling that the schoolgirls might just do a little bit better, but that's just a hunch. We'll have to see, because it's been a minute since I used the schoolgirls by themselves like that. Because honestly, I mostly just been using Naga. I kind of left Tia to the wayside and I feel bad about that. But we'll see. I'm interested because it's kind of crazy seeing that we're finally getting another duo. I mean, for Elysion Tower, this is going to be great, right? Because when it comes to Elysion Tower, not only do you have Phantom there who's distributed damage, but now you can have both of these characters. With Rappy too. It's actually pretty insane for Elysion now. But that's enough yapping. Hold on. I'll be right back so we can see the results and compare. So give me 1 second. Alright, so we're actually finishing off this final burst here. We're going to see what the results are. Maybe they're going to be better, maybe they're not. We'll have to see. But when we look, Scarlet Black Shadow actually did see an improvement of almost 1.7 billion right here. And now Quincy actually got 637 million, which is great. So there is an improvement here. And Rappy also did a little bit better as well, which is cool. So, obviously, you know, the schoolgirls for Scarlet Black Shadow and Quincy are a bit of a buff. So that's nice to see. So now what we wanted to see now that the baseline is getting bigger, we want to see where that's going to go comparing Mast and Anchor. So when we're comparing Mast and Anchor, I'm actually going to swap up the teams just a little bit and just move them around. So we're just going to remove them real quick. And then we're going to plug in Mast and then Anchor. Now that we have that set up, we're going to be good to go. And we're just going to start. Now we'll see what the results are going to be for them. Obviously this would be a little bit different if we used Alice, but I really wanted to just focus on the distributed damage aspect. So, you know, don't get mad at me for that. But as always, once again, give me 1 second. Alright, so we're starting to wind down here, and we're actually getting close to 4 billion. I'm surprised seeing that damage difference. But let's see how much better it actually got for them. Obviously, Quincy is at a disadvantage because of this water stuff, but she got almost... Wait, Scarlet Black Shadow got 2 billion, and Rappy's still at 700 million. But Scarlet Black Shadow got 2 billion. A major increase compared to the previous duos, especially compared to the bunnies. That's insane to me. So pretty much a 400 million increase over that. Quincy stayed about the same, but also she's kind of handicapped with this elemental advantage. It just seems like distributed damage is just eating really good right now, especially SBS, especially if we have like mana right here as well. It's crazy what they're doing, but I'm here for it. I mean, I'm really excited. I mean, for me, you know, the duos are kind of iffy because like the bunnies have just been resorted to the shotgun bunny team, honestly. And then The schoolgirls, really, I don't really use Tia that much unless it's sometimes in a solo raid. But most of the time I'm using Naga. So it's kind of refreshing to see this basically distributed damage duo right now. It's interesting. I'm really excited to see what happens down the line. But I really like these characters. It's nice to see a different type of duo in line now. But, you know, let me know where your guys' thoughts are. Did you guys end up pulling for them? Are you guys happy with the results? What do you guys aren't happy about? Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. But as always, thank you so much for the constant support. I know this one was kind of a long one, so bear with me. But I hope you guys have a lovely day, a lovely night wherever you're from. And as always, thank you so much for the constant support. Take care, and have a good one.